risk all those boneheaded plays. Like, we're not good enough to overcome all that. So for players like Randall to consistently be doing boneheaded plays, and I mean, I say boneheaded plays because I don't want to curse, but you know what I really want to say. You out there doing some nonsense. You're not
shacking the fool. He's shacking the fool.
So the Knicks have a upcoming game tonight against the Indiana Pacers. Inf, what's the betting line right now?
Right now, the betting is Pacers are favored to win by 9 or more.
Okay. So once again, the Knicks are the underdogs, but I think depending on who the Knicks decide to start, this should be a pretty competitive game. What do you think, Inf? Do they have any updates on the starting lineup yet?
No, not at the moment. But I do feel like this is definitely going to be a really competitive game. Looking back at our previous matches against the Pacers, we usually play pretty well against them. One of the games we won by 7 points. One of them we lost by 1 point. And then one game in the very beginning of the season, we lost by about 8 or 9 points. And this is all from last season. But so we match it pretty well against them.
Yeah, we'll have to see how Oladipo looks, because Oladipo, a player I said the Knicks should probably target via trade. We're going to see if he's actually, recovering from that knee injury or that lower leg injury from last year. What was it, a thigh? I think he ruptured his quad or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. I believe it was his quad. And so far, just judging off their preseason, they haven't looked that great. Yeah. They've been losing. So again,
which makes me feel a little bit disrespected that we're down in the betting odds by such a wide margin. Like, we just beat a team by 40. Put some respect on our name. Preseason or no preseason. Come on.
No, yeah. Betting people out there, I would definitely recommend going for the Knicks spread. I feel like the Knicks aren't going to lose by more than by 9 or more. I already bet on them. I feel like if we do lose, it's probably going to be like 4 points maybe. I feel like it's going to be a relatively close game.
I really want to know who Tibbs is going to decide to start, though, because I want to see if Tibbs is finally getting it. If he's going to go with Peyton, or, I know Noel's been hurt. They haven't really released much information or an update on his status for this game. And Mitch, I think, also is listed as probable, or he was listed as probable yesterday with an ankle injury. So I don't really know what team we're going to be starting with. But if we go with a similar lineup to that fourth game, I think we should be pretty competitive. Like, the game should be close. It should be a nail biter up until the closing minutes. And, I'm expecting us to win. I want us to win. I think we ended the preseason on a high note, and now hopefully we can carry that over into our first game against the Pacers. I think the Pacers aren't necessarily a juggernaut or nothing crazy like that. I mean, they got Oladipo. Is Turner going to be available? They got Oladipo, Turner.
I mean, yeah, but Turner,
Sabonis.
It's really Sabonis who's their key piece. He's the only one who's been playing consistently good. He's going to be the biggest issue. So Julius Randle has his work cut out for him this game. So does Obi Toppin. And anyone who plays that power forward position, because Sabonis is a power forward who can shoot. He could shoot lights out. So that's going to be the focus. That's going to be the matchup to look for. It's going to be good to see Obi going against another power forward who can shoot. Hopefully, Obi can pick up some cues on his game to adapt to Obi's own game. Mm-hmm. But that's going to be the matchup to watch out for.
Yeah. I mean, and the Pacers have a new coach, too. Who did they have last year? What's his name? They had he used to be the Blazers coach. Oh, man. You remember remember who it is?
These teams have been switching coaches way too often.
Nate McMillan. I believe he was their coach. And yeah, let me Google, see who their coach is now. Pacers coach. Because they had McMillan and then Bjorken. Nate Bjorken. Yeah, and then they had Nate McMillan last year.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So I'm not gonna act like I know a lot about this Nate Bjorken guy. So,
I know nothing.
I know nothing about that dude. So I don't know what kind of offense or what kind of defense principles they'll be running. But like I said, based on what we saw from the Knicks this preseason, I think we can be competitive with everybody up until the cream of the crop. Like, am I saying we're gonna go out and be super competitive against the Lakers or one of those teams where they have multiple
Or the
stars?
Nets.
We're not about to get into that. But if the team has multiple stars, then yeah, it's gonna be a long night for the Knicks. But if you just pulling out, tier B, tier C players, and we're putting out our starting lineup with Quickly in them, I think the Knicks should be competitive in every game. If we get blown out, I'm gonna be pissed. Like, there's no reason we should be getting blown out this season. Every game, we have young players. They should not be tired. They should be running up and down the court. When the Knicks move, when the Knicks get in transition with this team, I think we're a problem because the defense, one, can't get set. And now that we have IQ on the court, if the defense can't get set in transition, you're opened up to, transition threes. And if the defense is worried about those transition threes, it's going to make things a lot easier in those fast break moments where players or defenders may be running out to stop the transition three and leave the paint wide open. They'd rather give up an easy two than an easy wide open three. So there's a lot of options with the Knicks if they go with the young group. But if they decide to go with some of these older players, we're going to be in trouble because we're not going to have the same floor spacing. And we're going to have Elfrid Payton dribbling the ball into the ground. And then at some point, he's going to try to scoop pass it to Randall for a spin into triple coverage and miss.
Yeah, our veterans, it's not like we have these veterans that have playoff experience and know what they're doing. No, we have veterans that just play ball and they're regular people. Like,
they're regular people.
They're not the ones who you're going to put on they're players that you add them to any team and they don't make a difference. They just play regular minutes. They contribute if they need to. And then Peyton is not going to get us nowhere. So playing him a bulk of the minutes for what? It's detrimental to the team. Same thing with Randall. Hopefully this is the trade deadline where we get rid of Randall. Hopefully this is the year that, all right, Randall, we tried it out for kind of like a year and a half. It's about that time.
Yeah,
but hopefully he relies more on our younger players because that's the only way we can compete with energy and with athleticism.
Yeah, Randall just has some poor decision making a lot of times. Like the talent is there, but between his ears, he just be doing some dumb stuff, and that's just like, bro, you got to go do that somewhere else. Because honestly, on a team that's we're not necessarily, we don't have the most assortment of talent. We can't risk all those boneheaded plays. Like, we're not good enough to overcome all that. So for players like Randall to consistently be doing boneheaded plays, and I mean, I say boneheaded plays because I don't want to curse, but you know what I really want to say. You out there doing some nonsense. You're not
shacking the fool. He's shacking the fool.
Like, you out there wilding. It's not going to benefit the team. And if you're not part of our long-term future, I don't want you out there, trying to learn through those situations because you're not going to be there long-term. So why are we giving you the minutes to actually learn and get better, and overcome some of those deficiencies? You're going to get better for another team because we're not going to keep you past this year anyway. So let him go on and do what he needs to do. And then we can bring Obi in, let Obi kind of learn trial by error, and then see where we are from there. Because it's not like Obi's a super young guy. Obi's the oldest out of the core, I think. Yeah, he is the oldest out of the core. So everybody
out of the core, he's 22.
Yeah, so we're gonna baby Obi. Like, Obi needs some work. You see, he needs some work, but I don't think we have to baby him per se. Obi damn near grown. Damn near a grown man.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, so nah, let that man rock.
Yeah, and the last thing we need is a power forward on the court who's gonna give us 5 turnovers. Like, that doesn't help anyone. And there's no way that Julius Randle is going to learn quick enough to stop turning the ball over so easily. He's in his, seventh year?
Something like that, yeah. Yeah, he came in 2013, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, he's who he's going to be. He is him. So, ain't no teaching that.
And like what kills me for a big, he doesn't do anything like the bigs are really supposed to do. Like, bigs, in general, they're supposed to be high field goal percentage because they're getting close looks to the basket. And they're supposed to be bruising and all these other things. And they're supposed to have low turnover ratios. Like, I'm lying. They're not going to have low turnover ratios because they don't really get too many assists. But they're not supposed to have a lot of turnovers, period, because they're not really handling the ball. But this dude, Randall, he checks off every box. Low field goal percentage for a big, check. High turnover, check. Like, bro, you are everything a big is not supposed to be. Like, quite literally. So, bro, do that for another team. Do that for another team.
You know what? And depending on how good Obi can actually play this season, he might take Randall's starting spot.
Oh, I'm fully expecting him to take the starting spot by season end. If not, it was disappointing. It's a disappointing season. You gonna tell me we drafted this guy 8th, and he's not gonna be good enough to take Randall's spot? And Randall not gonna be here next year? Nah, Randall, you gotta hit the bench, bro.
Hopefully
Randall,
they trade him by the trade deadline.
Yeah.
Like if we can flip Randall for a second round pick or something, good. Let him go.
Well, I might want a little, maybe late first. And 2021 is a deep draft, so if we can start adding to that stockpile, I would never complain.
I mean, well, seeing what Leon Rose has already been able to do with the drafts, I'm excited to see how we finagle all of what we have right now.
This is how drafts are supposed to look when you have a legitimate scouting department. Like, I don't know who the Knicks had back in their scouting department back when Phil was with us, but we ain't really get much or nothing.
Stevie Wonder, maybe.
Because think about what they were saying. Remember all the players you named that got drafted after Frank, and the whole argument for our pick at that time was either Frank or DSJ, and the both of them are bums. And me, so clearly our scouting department wasn't up to it. They weren't up to the task. So. Yeah. Now, hopefully, they got a legitimate scouting team, and you see that with finding quickly at 25, and hopefully we can continue to do that next season as well. But it's all going to start here against the Pacers, and I think we should win. I don't want us to go out there and lose to start the season. I'm probably going to be tweeting during the game as well. The channel finally has a Twitter. You guys convinced me to open up one, so I can start tweeting during the game.
They're like, oh, that's some bull.
Yeah, right. I'm like, oh, these mother. Oh man. But all right, let's wrap it up there.
All right.
It was a good pod. I like some of the things we got into on this one.
Yeah, we ain't agree on everything.
Right? Yeah. All right. So once again, I'm Quis, host of Sports Vibes TV, joined by Inf.
It's good.
And